I'm Original L, and I'm showing how I'm growing my wealth through the futures market and the stock market. Now, we're going to get into this video. We're going to explain the MU earnings and how the PCE inflation numbers came out today and how I shorted the market and I made $346 in one day. Let's go. Now, when it comes to MU, everybody's chasing a hype right now for this memory stuff. Most of these memory companies are at all-time highs. I personally don't get why people's chasing it and chasing it and chasing it when it's at all-time highs. Now, as an investor, myself, I personally like to buy in a discount, sell in a premium. But if I'm planning on holding an asset, such as a stock, for long term, I just buy in a discount and I keep on holding it forever. Now, with MU being at all-time highs, it's not in a discount for me to buy and hold forever. So I don't get why everybody's chasing it and hyping it up. I know it's going crazy with the memory stock. It had a crazy earnings. Yes, it had a crazy earnings, but the market's still bearish. Let me show you why. Looking at this NQ chart, which is the NASDAQ 100 futures market, this is bearish. You see how we get this close below this new week opening gap. Then we get a tap back into this daily sell sign of balance, buy side inefficiency. Now, before we see all of this, I know my drawn liquidity. What is my drawn liquidity? These sell stops right here. You see how they're relatively equal and they're sending in a buy sign of balance, sell sign efficiency on the daily chart. Now, this is where I personally see price going. So that means no matter what company comes out and says this and that's supposedly carrying the market, I get how it's doing that. I get how it could do that. But the overall index is telling me it's bearish. So why am I going to follow a company just because it had good earnings? Yeah, good earnings. It's cool. It is what it is. Congratulations to the company. You're still buying in a premium. I don't do that. If you want to do that, go ahead. But me personally, on my journey, I'm just not. But with those relatively equal lows on the daily chart, I know that price wants to go down lower. Now, coming into the morning, the Qs had a huge gap opening. And within the first 30 minutes, I'm watching it and I'm like, bet. Okay, this had a huge gap opening. I'm not going to short. I'm not going to try to long. But within the first 30 minutes, I let the first 30 minutes play out. And what did it do? That whole move up that the Qs had from the MU earnings, the Qs literally gave that back. It literally sank down and filled in the gap and gave that back. Why? Because you saw those relative equal lows of a drawn liquidity on a daily chart. If I'm wrong about them, it is what it is. But the daily chart is bearish. The market is bearish in my opinion. So it, of course, is going to give all of that move they had off of MU earnings over the night up. And exactly what it did. Now, was I expecting to do that? No. But after the first 30 minutes, I knew for my day trade for the day, I'm going to be bearish, because usually when it has a huge premium gap like that, I either don't trade or I look for longs and going long on the market. But since I sat and watched the first 30 minutes, when it sold back off hard like that, I'm like, now I can be bearish. Now I see relative equal lows within the 1 minute time frame. And I'm going to short this. Let's see if I can make money or not. But I'm talking too much. Let me get into the trade and the actual money I made from shorting the market, from people being all hyped up and long on the market from a huge gap up. Everybody, the bulls is like, oh man, this market is bullish. But let me show you how I shorted it. Coming into today, I obviously see when I woke up doing my pre-market analysis that I'm still bearish, right? I seen we had a huge little move up during the MU earnings stuff, but I know it's all manipulation at the end of the day. I can't get manipulated, right? Especially when I know within these markets. Am I gonna lose? Yes. But did I lose today? No. Okay. So looking at this daily chart and the 4-hour chart, we are obviously bearish. We get this huge move of, okay, that candle's not scaring me whatsoever. So yeah, moving on to the hourly, I really didn't have no drawn liquidity. But we get into the 15-minute. Now, the 15-minute chart, I like coming into the open. I wanted to see during a 950 to 1010 macro if I can get an entry to hit these relative equal lows right here. Now, from the market being up crazy, I know I might sound crazy for wanting to be short, but the higher time frame It's telling me I still need to be short. But I wasn't going to force it. Like I said, I was not going to force a short because I know we had a huge opening range premium gap. Now, I wanted these relative equal lows right here to get hit after the first 30 minutes. Well, that didn't happen, right? So coming in, we had this 269 point opening range gap. Like I said earlier, I thought it was going to hold. Usually when we have a gap that's 125 points or more, it goes to the upper quadrant and then keeps going in a higher direction of where the market wants to go, higher for the day. Now, since I seen going to the 5-minute chart, the 30-minute opening range is done for. I'm like, bet. In my head, we filling that whole 269 point opening range premium gap within the first 30 minutes. I'm like, oh no, this market is bearish. Today is bearish. A lot of people gonna get food. A lot of people probably got food from that huge gap opening. Oh, MU earnings is up crazy. Oh, these stocks, the semiconductors, these memory stocks is going up. It's going to the moon. But once I watched that first 30 minutes and seen that 270 point opening range premium gap get filled in like that, I'm like, whoa. Nah, I ain't gonna lie. It did catch me off guard. But it was like, it is what it is. Let's see what I could do, right? But usually I was looking for this to happen during the 950 to 1010 macro. It didn't. So I'm like, okay, what can be my drawn liquidity right now? Usually when pre-market low is low get taken out or previous day low get taken out, I'm not looking for no type of shorting opportunities. When I'm bearish, I'm like, I'm done with the market. I don't want to look at that anymore. But since we have previous day low down there, that still gives me like the mindset of I could still look for shorts, but not during the 950 to 1010 macro because it didn't happen in. Now I'm looking at the 1050 to 1110 macro and make sure I enter with the near before it hits 1130, which is the lunch macro. So looking at 1050 to 1110, I'm like, bet we still got previous day low down here. I didn't want, and we created relative equal lows. I didn't want it to be my drawn liquidity because we tanked a lot. And I was like, I really don't trust it going down there. I do, but it's like, it can and it can't. So I wasn't that strong in it, right? So coming into the 1050 to 1110 macro, we take out this high right here. Then we get this down close candle. After we get this down close candle right here, I'm like, bet, right? Now I'm gonna move to the 1-minute chart. So I'm like, since that happened, I'm looking at the 1 minute, looking at the 5 minute. I'm gonna put down a low, the first low that gets created after 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, I do that because I learned from somebody called the Inner Circle Trader from studying. If you don't know him, go study. I'm just on my journey and what I'm doing on my wealth journey, right? I'm not a teacher, not none of that. So go watch him. He always says, boom, first low when I'm bearish after 10 a.m. After we got a huge move down, we take out a short-term swing high from the 5-minute chart, get that candle close down on the 5-minute chart. Right after that, I'm on a 30-second, a 50-second, or a 1 minute looking for a tap into a CB to get created or a busy to have an inversion of it, right? So we got this first low and we got a relative equal lows right there. When I see the relative equal lows, it's like light bulb. It's like the light bulb. You see this? I'm seeing light right now. All this light in my room. It's starting to do that in my head. Once exactly when I seen that low after 10 a.m. and it was relative equal lows. So it's like, that's my draw. That's where I want to see the market go down to. So I saw that. I automatically, 30-second chart. I see this sell sign imbalance, buy sign efficiency right here get created. Now, after it gets created, I'm like, bet it taps back into it. Like I said, again, during the 1050 to 1110 macro, we got these clean relative equal lows. I ain't gonna lie, I did get scared, so I put mine at the first low right here instead of this one. But you see, it did tap that one. But I was like, man, I'm gonna just take it right here because we saw it off a lot. So yeah, man, these relative equal lows did get took. My drawn liquidity was right, but first and foremost, my drawn liquidity was right. That's cool and all, but let me show you how I manage the trade while I'm in it and how I protect my risk. Looking at this trade, you see these red lines right here. We got this 0.25 level. Like I drew a fib from this high to the low I was targeting. Going into how I manage the trade, I make sure to automatically go break even once it tapped the 0.25 based off of this high to this low I was targeting. And yeah, man, that's how I manage the trade while I'm in it, because I know with the right or rights in my head, after we touch this 0.25 level on the fib, after I get in for my entry, we should not come to the 0.5 of my trade after we touch the 0.25 of it. It should just run down like it did. Now coming to the risk, this was a good risk reward, almost a 3R. My stop loss usually bees at swing highs, but I'm only willing to lose $125 per trade. I only do one micro. It's original beginners for me. This is how I'm growing my wealth. If you do it how you do it, it is what it is. This is how I'm growing mine, right? So it usually be at a swing high, but I put it at 62 points because I didn't want to risk that much, and I'm only willing to lose $125 per trade for one micro contract. And yeah, man, that happened, and this is no cap. This was my entries right here for this W trade. Also, you can see right here, 346 points for the day. Now, that was my overall day, my overall perspective coming into the day. Now, with that being said, I still shorted the market with everybody being like, oh, these MU earnings, MU's at all-time highs. I don't know why people are buying in a premium. But if you want to do that, is what it is. But as I go on my journey, building my wealth, I'll never buy in a premium. I'm always selling in a premium, buying in a discount. Something else happened today was the PCE earnings, and had something to do with inflation and stuff like that. I honestly don't care about the earnings, because with all this news coming out, it's high impact news. In my humble opinion, it's all manipulation. So yeah, you could say, oh, the PCE has something to do with it, but I honestly think that we saw it off because it was manipulation for the people that was so long from the memory companies be like, oh, the Nasdaq's going to keep going higher and higher. The index are going to keep going higher and higher, which it did not today. It sold off, and that whole gap up it happened overnight. It took it back. So with that being said, man, I didn't get manipulated by the markets today, and I read it the perfect way how I was supposed to. And yeah, man, thank God for that. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. Lord willing, shalom.